and this episode of the Typical Manga Review is going to be dedicated to Akame Got Killed, Chapter 76, Kill Esdeath. I don't know if it's Kill Esdeath or Kill Esdeath 2, but either way, doesn't matter all that much. We open on Tatsumi in dragon form, with the scientist who's kind of like been watching, doctor or scientist or whatever, who's been watching over them, trying to maintain control of them with the soldiers. And I can't help but feel a bit weirded out by the line, like, I won't be able to examine him as a life sample at this rate. Like, good priority there, Doc. But Tatsumi pretty much like breaks free the holds and runs off. One of the rank and files wondering what just happened. The doctor explains that Tatsumi and Curcio are fusing. The dragon that was used to create the armor is using Tatsumi's body as a vessel for reincarnation, so that it can regain its former dragon form. Within that body now is a fusion of Tatsumi and that very dragon. Both their lives have become intertwined, one dependent on the other. The body itself is already a dragon, and Tatsumi's human heart, which is in all likelihood hanging on by a thread, will eventually succumb and become the dragon as well. The rank and file is like, even after being turned into a suit of armor, it's still doing all this in order to revive itself. I wonder if all Tegu users have to face an obstacle like this eventually. And the doctor kind of like kicks in like, "Ooh, hang on. That's actually a pretty good point." Like he's wondering, like, when Tatsumi began to fuse with the dragon, why didn't it never occur for a second that other Tegu users might have subjected themselves to that very same danger? So all Tegu are basically the same. In which case, the mysterious Lina, which transforms half the user's body, is all the more dangerous. But from the beginning of this whole era that they've been using Tegu, no side effect like that has ever been reported, documented, or otherwise. So that's an interesting detail on there. Meanwhile, Esdeath is unleashing death and destruction upon the rebel scum. She creates an ice tree and apparently seems to be sending ice spikes at everybody. Like, just starts wiping people out with that. And Curcio charges in the fight. And Esdeath immediately recognizes him, despite the fact that his change in form, like, that's the price you paid for your transformation. You turned into an actual dragon. Of course, she isn't dismayed or upset by anything. She's like, it's absolutely breathtaking. A burning love like ours never dies out. It never changes. It is by my hands you shall fall. The soldiers keep trying to press forward. Akame kind of screams at Tatsumi like, "What do you think you're doing? You've already done more than enough. You've given enough of yourself. Leave it to me. Fall back." But Tatsumi's slowly but surely getting out. He has to hurry and stop this. Mine has to be cold. And Akame's like, "Oh, you really are a piece of work. Even at a time like this, that's what you're focusing on." So he's decided that before he disappears, before it takes over completely, he wants to be of use. And he goes into the fight. Akame clearly wants to go after him, but she's thinking to herself that she has to prioritize the mission. All she needs to do is cut Esdeath down as fast as she can. So we get a few more Tegu users. I'm wondering if some of these are from Tegu we saw before, like from the Jaegers and so on. But either way, we're getting a bunch of attacks from Tegu users and rank and file alike. But they really just aren't doing a whole lot of work. Like the only one that's really making any headway is Tatsumi, who's actually attacking her, making her dodge and react. Someone tries to create an illusion where Tatsumi's attacking her, but this being Esdeath, if he was trying to make her hesitate, it does not do the job. Like the guy's even like, she broke the illusion with brute force. The rank and files are like, she's too strong. She hasn't even taken superficial damage. If they continue like this, we'll be massacred by Esdeath. And the agenda is to hear in this, though, and she's pointing out, no, there's no way a single person can bring down 1 million soldiers. No matter how much stamina she has, it's still beyond her reach. That's it, and that's exactly why she's jumped into the thick of it, why she's attacking personally. She's exerting her dominance. These are adding to her aura of untouchability and invincibility. That she's unrivaled, all-powerful. Together with her cold wave, it's a calculated attempt on her part to destroy the morale of the troops. Instead of taking her directly, retreating and waiting out the cold storm would have a better chance of survival. She wants the soldiers to think that, because as soon as they do, that's pretty much when they're done fighting. And the rank and file is like, yeah, that happens. There's no need to defeat 1 million soldiers. it just gives her an easier path to victory. Of course, Najena's like, that was her own first impression, but at the same time, the conditions are now optimal for her. If she really planned to hold the ground against all of them, this is pretty much her best chance he's ever going to get. So she's hoping that Akame will take a chance to, will be able to get her shot here. It's like, time's against them, but keep calm, don't rush it, finish this. We get some narration here of Akame circling Esdeath from every angle she can, biding her time, looking for the opening. Hiding amongst the shadows of the soldiers that are risking their lives to keep her at bay. Akame's target will be assassinated. Akame has never faltered or wavered in this course of action. She may be adept at killing, but her specialty is simply to bury. We get I think the Beastmaster Tegu user, like sending a bunch of monsters after Esdeath. That goes about as well as could be expected. The rank and files make a shot, but she just uses like her counter attack to blast even more attacks on them. Of course, her spiked pillar of death is stopped by Tatsumi grabbing it. He fire using Tegu users like he tries to attack, but before he can even see what's happening, like she's pretty much driven her high heel right into the top of his head, so he's down. We get the one who's got the Scissor Tegu, the successor of that particular ability. And I got a few bunch of them as well. Like pretty much we get a group attack on Esdeath here. However, Esdeath is pretty much able to bring them all down with relative ease. Because even though she praises them for their ability to work together, actually attack together, she's thinking to herself that their mere presence gives away every last bit of their intent. Of course, the problem with that is like those are the kinds of things she lives for. The moments like those, it's for moments like those that she lives to fight. And of course, that is the moment Akame chooses to kill. Like the moment she's like, just her body trembling from the thrill and rush of Mortal Kombat. And in that very moment, as she held her arm aloft, slice. Akame actually like gets in a cut on Esdeath. Of course, at that exact moment, she unleashes her Mahapadma, or to be more accurate, Zawurdo, and freezes time immediately around her. She's already like the actual spread of Akame's poison is already kind of kicking in. And she actually admits that she didn't even notice Akame's presence until she'd been cut. So she does the only reasonable thing and chops off her own arm where that Akame had cut. And then right as she does that, the time stop ends and Tatsumi's attacking her already. Seems like he's actually able to bring him down. Akame notices like the loss. Everyone notices the loss of the arm. She suspended time and cheated death by quickly amputating it herself. The soldiers see that she's lost her arm and think this is their chance, but no. She's not worried at all, at least. Akame finds her way to Tatsumi, and she's realizing that the dragon's pretty much taken over now. Like it's attacking her, but before it can go too far, like you hear Tatsumi say, "Kill me." My consciousness, it's already fading away. I can't stop it any longer. He's holding Akame to her promise. Like I want you to be the. Like basically, they promise to kill it when each kill the other if something goes too badly wrong. So he asks her to hurry and do it. And Akame agrees. I shall kill you. And as the chapters end, just kind of skipping ahead a bit, but. Yeah, so she pretty much like stabs Tatsumi, and as Murasame's poison starts to kind of going through him, we see some narration going here, like the countless lives he had taken before this moment, the carnage, the slaughter, the bloodshed. But it was now, regardless of the circumstances, where she had once again thrust her blade into the body of a friend. The first time it had happened was when she had first acquired Murasame. If push came to shove, Akame had resolved herself to kill even her own little sister. This type of conviction is what led Murasame to strongly acknowledge her as the true owner and wielder of its cursed blade. put. She had released its trump card, Enozono. And we see her pretty much ready to attack Esdeath with some black marks appearing on her. And yeah, here we go. One last page here. Nagenda's like, you are sly one, Nagenda. Like, or Esdeath, like, you're a sly one, Nagenda. Keeping a secret Tego up your sleeve has never been how you do things. It's you, Akame. It was you, always you, from the beginning. You were the countermeasure she'd been building up against me. Even in this battle, you were the only one able to wound me. And Akame's brave declared that her final target will be Esdeath. I will bury you. And that is where the chapter ends. Like I said, this is a pretty heavy action chapter, and it's the saddest part is that we're possibly seeing Tatsumi die. I don't know. The only thing I can picture him surviving is if it kills the dragon, but not Tatsumi, which I don't find to be very likely. So I don't foresee that being like and given the nature of the series, I don't see Tatsumi surviving either. Like, at least not very easily. It really could go either way, but it's hard to. I'm not going to make any bets on this so far. Right. But yeah, like I said, this chapter pretty much is like just Esdeath curb stomping everybody. And like I said, the chapter's called "Kill Esdeath," but yeah, no, that ain't happening. That ain't coming up anytime soon, buddy. Sorry to disappoint. And while he hasn't been able to actually be part of these reviews, Typical Manga Fan did have a little few comments on Twitter about this chapter. Let's see, kind of run through them here really quick. Mostly just like taking the note that if Esdeath's logic was taken to its logical conclusion, there'd only be one person left in the entire planet because everybody else would be too weak. Like, the strong survive off the weak. So like, taking to its full conclusion, that's where that would go. And as well, there's a critique on that particular kind of logic, because strength is relative. Like, there's more than one way to survive and be stronger than the other people around you. Just kind of read this right and see if there's anything else I want to bring up on this. And basically, just wondering why there's not more inner conflict with Esdeath. Personally, I don't see it, because I don't see why she should feel inner conflict for herself, because in her mind, her path is pretty straightforward. She lives to kill. She lives to fight. If something can give her a good chance to do both, she is all for it. Anything else? Whatever. That's why, like I say, why for me personally, the one thing I do not want to see is Esdeath like actually get to go down in her blaze of glory. That she seems to be out for. Like, if she were to die in the midst of like some big epic battle, she would die content, I'm sure. Like, she would not be against that. I would, because when it comes to villains, it's one of the worst things you do is like have a villain win by getting what they want. Even if they're defeated, they still get something that they want out of it. That's why, that's why I almost regret seeing Akame's attempt at killing her fail. I mean, it was a good way to survive that on her part, Esdeath's part. I'll give her that, but like the best way to actually like take out someone who's like what TV Tropes calls a blood knight like that is basically like murder them. Like, don't give them the battle. Like, let them die some other way. Like, what I almost would like to see happen now is if somehow Esdeath comes out of this alive but crippled. That would probably be like the single most satisfying way for me for her fate to end. Like, she survives everything, but she's left like a cripple, unable to actually do or act in any way. I am beginning to wonder though if that little comment by the rank and file and the doctor about Tegu taking over people to try and reincarnate. If it's never happened before and Tatsumi's unique, that's one thing, but the way they're saying it, it's almost being set up as if there's actually going to be something bigger happening here. So I'm wondering if we're going to see either Murasame and or Esdeath's Tegu like do that to their owners, to their wielders. If it's going to like turn into like a Godzilla fight again. So that could definitely take an interesting turn if that's where this fight is going to be going. point, we are definitely wrapping up to the closure on this. Like I said, I don't know if next chapter will actually finish the fight or if it'll be like next 2 chapters. That's one thing I can see genuinely going either way. But the next chapter is going to definitely be like heavy on the action on there, like just like this one was. I think, like for the most part, I think we're past the point of worrying too much about theories. We just have a few things left to kind of wrap up. Like, is Leon actually dead? Like, I'm assuming she is, just because that's what it's been looked like. But what happened to the Prime Minister? Like, where did he go to? Oh, that would actually be kind of beautiful if for whatever reason, the Prime Minister actually the one who kills the Esdeath for whatever reason. That would definitely be something on there. That would definitely be a way to kind of drive the salt in the wound there for her. So, well, yeah, at the very least, we've at this point got the title character fighting the big villain. So we are definitely at the end. We are definitely closer than ever to the end game at this point, I think. I do want to know if Tatsumi is actually going to survive this or not. Because I don't think it would be super tragic if Tatsumi died, but mine actually did come out of her coma. If you start thinking, that's probably the worst thing that could probably happen there. But then that's largely my own personal opinion on that. That's like trying to like what would twist the knife the most. But I'm not really sure there's much else. Like I said, since it was such a heavy action chapter, there's not really much like plot wise going to. Beyond just how overpowered Esdeath was, and my God, she is overpowered. She is just wiping the floor with everybody. I mean, Nadine said it herself. Like taking on 1 million people should not be possible. But if anybody could do it, she's the one. Because yeah, like she's and the situation's like set up for her like pretty much as optimally as it's ever going to be. So things are gonna get crazy for that. That's for dang sure. Well, okay. Yeah, I think that. Let me see if there's anything else on TMS Twitter we wanna. I don't know. That might serve as a good talking point here that hasn't come up already. Yeah, but most of it's just more about like Esdeath's character development or either lack of or reversion to being one-dimensional because all she wants to do is fight. So that's pretty much where that goes. And I don't know if I agree with that personally, because Esdeath has been pretty consistent about that this whole time. So I mean, she's not about to change now, I don't think. So with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a review. As far as our monthly series go, we've got Attack on Titan is out this week, but not yet in English at the time of me recording this. When it does come out, if it's like just in the next couple days or so, I'll probably do a really quick video and get it out rapidly, get it out right away for everybody. So be on the lookout for that in the next few days. If it's longer than that, I'll probably just hold off on it until next Tuesday. And probably just do it because I think next Tuesday there's just only going to be My Hero Academia anyway, since One Piece is off next week. So that's the plan for that. Until next time, I hope you have a. See you all next time. Until then, have a good one. Bye.